I've got one rotisserie chicken and I'm cooking for one person. A lot of you reached out, you like the Cooking for One series, and that's what we're doing today. I'm taking one Costco rotisserie chicken. We're using every part to make a broth in 2 separate recipes. It's going to be delicious. Cooking for one, feeding ourselves for a week. Here we go. I'm using clean hands. Clean hands, I'm going to shred apart the chicken, bones, everything. Let's make a broth with the bones and 2 of the wings. Okay, so I'm going to untie that. I want the wing portion, both wings, to make a broth stock. So I'm going to set these aside. Just like that. Okay, so I'm going to shred the meat, and the bones are going to go to make like this stock, but just take all the meat off the bones. So I've got my shredded chicken, which I will shred and cut up and divide later. And here are the bones and the 2 wings. I actually got most of the meat off of the bones, but the skin and bones and a little bit of meat is going to make us a delicious stock. On the saute function in my Instant Pot, I'm going to saute with a little bit of cooking oil, half of a yellow onion, here I have 2 cloves of garlic going in, okay. Now for all the bones and some of that broth at the bottom of the bag going in with the bones and a little bit of chicken meat. Two liters of hot water. Okay, we're going to pressure cook on high for 45 minutes. There we go. Also, you want to make sure that it's on sealing. Make sure that valve is closed. Okay, I am going to try that viral Costco rotisserie chicken like hack. Here I have a little bit of that like congealed broth. I'm going to warm it up. By the way, you can microwave these bags. It's up to you whether you want to do that or not. But I got the wing meat that we put into the broth. I got some of that. That's going in. I'm going to heat this up. Okay. A lot of you might find this off-putting. I'm going to try it. I'll do 30 seconds. See ya. Okay. I feel like that's long enough. Okay, we have the chicken and the broth left in the bag. This is hot rice going in. Oh my God, don't make a mess, but it's hot. I'm adding a little bit of soy sauce because I like it. I've got the hot, spicy, like garlicky chili crunch. Actually, this is Golden Wok, famous spicy hot oil. Couple of that. If you can spare a scallion, you want to add that. Okay. Give it a mix. Oh my gosh, this smells great. And there you have it. One meal. Why not? One meal done. This is good. You should give it a try. Okay, so here I portioned out just small portions of chicken. I have sliced fresh ginger and garlic and scallion. I've also portioned out 3/4 cup to a cup of cooked rice that's been cooled. And now I'm just going to meal prep it. That goes into 4 separate containers or dishes. And after adding the rice, I'm going to add the portions of chicken and all the aromatics. By the way, if you do not have fresh ginger or garlic, you can simplify what you put as far as aromatics. If you want to add other veggies, you can do so. After meal prepping, it's going right into the freezer, and if you stick around to the end of the video, I'm going to show you how I make this. So that'll be 4 meals done. So far, we've had 5 meals from the chicken, and let's keep going. Okay, so this has dropped down. It's time to open it up. Okay, so here we are. This is done. I'm going to strain this, and shout out to Chris Young's YouTube channel. I will link his video in the description below if you want to see a more detailed recipe on using Costco chicken and making your own chicken stock. Okay, so I'm going to strain part of it into this 4 or 1 liter measuring cup or 4 cups because I'm going to use this broth for both of the recipes that I'm making today. So here we go. This is the chicken or the rotisserie chicken that I have left, if I had to guess. Maybe around 3/4 of a pound to a full pound. I'm not measuring, I'm just sort of portioning it out with like my eyeballs. And I am going to make a chicken chili stew, I guess is what we'll call it. 3 Roma tomatoes because I have them, 2 cloves of garlic. I had these cans, I literally just raided my pantry for the ingredients. I have 2 cans of mild diced green chilies, a can of black beans, a can of corn. I have my taco seasoning mix. I feel like seasoning mixes are a lot more economical for people who just don't have like elaborate pantries filled with different seasonings and spices. So I opt for this, but season how you like. And some dehydrated onion because I found this in my pantry. So there. Okay, so I am going to put these in my food processor to chop them up. This is the 3 Roma tomatoes and the garlic. That was underwhelming. I'm going to saute the fresh tomato and garlic. I'm also going to add in onion. You could use fresh. I'm using chopped, dried, dehydrated onion. Let this go for a couple of minutes. Here I have 3 tablespoons of that taco seasoning mix. You could just use an envelope of taco seasoning and just mix that around, heat it through. Green chilies. And the chicken. Give it a mix. Here we have the broth. I'm going to add about 2 cups. I'm going to salt and season to taste. Then I'm going to add a cornstarch slurry to tighten it up, to thicken it up, and it's done. I'm making cornbread to go along with this chicken chili stew meal prep, so I'm just going to follow the box instructions and pour it into a baking dish and bake it. I have plenty of from scratch made cornbread recipes on my channel. If you look it up, Simply Mama Cooks cornbread recipe, you'll find it. Okay, and here's how I'm going to meal prep it. Okay, so I've divided it into 5 meals. Plus, once the cornbread is done, that is 5 meals done. And you can have a bowl for yourself. That is a 6th meal. Not bad. Perfect. Okay, so I've meal prepped 5 freezer prepped meals, and I get to have a bowl for a meal. That's 6 meals. And in total, we are at 11 meals. So that's dinner for a full week plus more, or lunch, or some of these I eat for breakfast. Okay, these are ready for the freezer. I'm going to start storing some of the broth that I've already kind of strained. And these are just bowls or these little to-go containers for like Chinese takeout, wonton soup, and I'm going to use them for my broth to store in the freezer. So all I'm going to do is just, and I have a larger one as well, and I'm just going to freezer prep this essentially and strain all of the broth. This broth that I made gives me 2 liters of broth. Okay, so I have these, and I didn't fill them all the way to the top because once they freeze, they sort of expand. But these are completely cooled, and I'm going to cover with a lid and put them in the freezer. Okay, so let me show you what I'm going to make with the chicken and rice that we freezer prepped. It's frozen solid, and you can use a small pot to cook this. I'm using this Korean earthenware, like cookware, and I'm going to make congee. This is a very non-traditional way to make it. My husband calls this dakjuk, and that's a Korean version of rice porridge. But the flavor profile is closer to congee. So I'm going to break this apart, fit it in the bowl, and if you have freezer prepped your broth, then it's going to take a little longer to cook. But here I have my broth, it's cooled, and I'm going to add probably like around a cup to a cup and a half to this. And if you don't have broth, you can use water and season to taste. I'm going to add a pinch of salt. It's salt to taste. Start with like, I don't know, 1/8 of a teaspoon or a pinch, and some white pepper, again, to your taste. I'm going to cover this with a lid and let that gently simmer. Because it's frozen, it's going to take some time. I'm going to let this continue to simmer until it starts to thicken and the rice breaks apart. I'm also going to add another pinch of salt. You can salt to taste. You could also add garnishes like soy sauce, the hot chili oil, more scallion. So if you really want that congee texture, take a little whisk and break up the rice a little bit more, but you see how it's thickened into like that porridge consistency? So yeah, this took around 15 minutes at a simmer once it started to simmer. And look, you don't have to make congee or congee like rice porridge texture. You could just have chicken and rice in the broth. It all works, but the flavors are so good. I'm gonna garnish, turn off the heat, garnish with a little more green tops of the scallion. My son is gonna eat this. He likes sesame oil. A little more white pepper. And this is a comforting, delicious meal. All made mostly with that rotisserie chicken. So good. So I used an entire Costco rotisserie chicken and I made 11 meals. And with that broth, you can still create other soups and meals utilizing that flavorful stock that we made. So if you're looking for an easy way to feed yourself during the week and you're cooking for one person, give these a try. I hope you like them, and thanks for watching.